In this episode, I tell you why 2024 is going to be freaking awesome. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? My name is Michael Sahno, and welcome to the Sea and Land Fitness Podcast. As I said, my name is Michael Sahno. I'm your host, and this podcast is brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. So if you want programs and gear to begin your military fitness journey, then head on over to www.sandlfit.com. That's www.sandlfit.com and become part of the honey badger community. So I just wrote that as a brand new little marketing tagline slogan for this podcast, because there's so much junk happening this year. 2024 is going to be absolutely huge. And me writing that is sort of like here we go into some sports psychology. It's sort of like a little affirmation that the stuff I'm talking about is really going to actualize. It's really going to happen. So what's happening? Why is 2024 going to be so huge? 2024 is going to be huge because we will be launching our tiered fitness programs for people who want to go into the military. Now, what is a tiered fitness program? Well, a tiered fitness program is a fitness program that is offered in different levels, different tiers. So tier 3 is for people who want to, join the military, people who, what do you want to do in the military? I don't know. I just want to join the Navy, or I just want to join the Air Force, or the Army, the Coast Guard. You know what I mean? They just want to get themselves into the military and be in shape enough for boot camp. These are individuals who are going to either go into a shipboard role in the Navy, a support role in the Air Force, or a shipboard role in the Coast Guard, or a support role in the Army. What's a support role? A support role is something like working in admin or the motor pool or a medic or something like that. And that can be across all branches. Now, tier 2, that's tier 3. Tier 2 is for people who want to go into the combat arms. Not everyone is made to be in the infantry. Not everyone wants to be a ground pounder who wants to carry a heavy weight over a very long distance. I was infantry. I loved it. I was also in the Navy. I love that as well. But for people who want to go into combat roles, like in the Army, you have the infantry, of course, which I just said, and then you also have the cavalry, scout cavs. Those are guys who go out ahead of the tanks, the armored units, or the mobilized infantry, the motorized infantry, the Bradleys and stuff like that, the little armored personnel carriers. But the scout calves, those are the guys who go out and they're, scouts. So they need to be able to carry heavy loads over long distances. I've also brought in the Marine Corps into that, into the tier 2 program, because every Marine is a rifleman, meaning every Marine is an infantry person. So, everyone who joins the Marines is going to need to maintain that combat arms standard. And then tier 1 is, a meat grinder. That's for people who want to go into special operations selection courses. Okay. And it's very specific. It's for people who want to go into special operations selection courses and be at a fitness level where they will be able to compete and hopefully complete that selection process. And that's for buds and for the Navy for SEALs, and that's Special Forces selection, Ranger selection, or Ranger school. And what is it? The guys in the Coast Guard, the rescue divers, and then the Air Force for their tactical air controllers, their special operations guys for that. Now, these programs don't have a water component. They don't have a swimming component. We're going to develop that later. These programs, these tier 3, 2, and 1 programs, are only going to cover the land side of that training. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Peter Madeira, this is for you. Now, a lot of thought has gone into this, a lot of academic thought, as well as experiential thought from my 10 years in the military, and my master's program at the University of Florida, go Gators, in applied physiology and kinesiology. So this is not just a guy making you do push-ups. I have worked to craft these programs in such a way that they address the critical requirements physically for you to be successful. Now, why is 2024 going to be successful? Because I finished the programs. I have this enormous Excel spreadsheet that I have been slaving over for the past couple of weeks. And it's one of those kind of things because it's so much data. You got to write it and then you got to leave it. And then you got to come back to it and then you got to leave it. And then you got to come back to it and leave it. And I'm in the final stages of going over it. And hopefully, if I like what I see, by the end of the day on Monday, I'm going to send it over. And this is what makes it so special. This is what makes it so important. It's not just me. I'm the one who wrote the program, but it's not just me putting input into this program. I'm sending this program off to a colleague of mine at the University of Florida, a mentor of mine over at the University of Florida, and he is going to go through it. He is a tactical fitness guru. He is a strength and conditioning guru. He is, for all intents and purposes, the gold standard when it comes to this stuff. And I'm going to have him go through it, take a look at it, and he'll tweak it and say, you might want to think about this. You might want to think about that. So this is going to be a real, really, really, really well-researched fitness program. This isn't just going to be someone who was, someone who just said this is what I did and this will work for you, and that's not the case. This is, and it's important to say, it's not a one size fits all, because there will be an opportunity for you when you partake in this program to tweak it, to reach out to me directly and say, hey, what if I change this around? Is that okay? That works for you? Do that. It might bring to light something that I overlooked, and that would be awesome because it becomes a learning experience. So one of the things that I said in the intro was, and become a part of the honeybadger community. And that's what I want to develop. That's one of the other things that's going to develop over this year is interaction, and social interaction and I can't go into that yet, but we're developing a community. So hold on, another sip of coffee real quick. So where was I? I was talking about the programs. I finished them. I did the monster spreadsheet that has all the metrics for the program. And I'm going to have those gone over by, as I said, one of my esteemed colleagues over at the University of Florida. And once that's done and finalized, I will be able to finalize something that I'll be working on while that's being reviewed. And that is the written version of the program. So I'm going to so the way the process works is I make this huge program in Excel. You know, I go and I plug in all my exercises. I go through my library of exercises that I have to choose from, and then some that are just from my personal library of exercises. And then once that's all done, then I have to break it down into weeks, into sections, little training sections. And then on top of that, in order to communicate that to you guys, the Honey Badger Nation, I keep screwing that name up, Honey Badger. I'm going to have to say it like 10 times. Honey Badger, Honey Badger, Honey Badger. That way it rolls off. Then I have to, as I said, convey it to you. Now, that takes some creative writing where I have to outline the best way to describe not only the exercise, but what the evolution and purpose of this block of training is going to be. So let's say I'm going to go to the tier 1. So we have some heavy leg days, okay? And we have alternating leg days and sort of push-pull days, upper body days. And then we also have some land muscular endurance days, and those are days where you're running, days when you're rucking, you're carrying a big heavy pack, 50 pounds. And then after that, you're going to be expected to do push-ups. Now, how do we, if I just give that to you, you're going to go, Jesus, that's insane. I can't do that. But if I describe to you that resistance workout, that leg workout, is to be done early in the day, and maybe you close out your day with the running and the ruck marching, well, all of a sudden you have this window of rest period in between, and it then becomes not so daunting. One of the things that I learned, I was actually talking to someone about this before, and that someone at one of the schools I was at let something slip while we had done something stupid, and they were smoking us, making us do push-ups, flutter kicks, all that stuff. And the instructor goes, all right, all you guys who are whining, just understand, TRADOC, the training doctrine command, TRADOC says I can only do this to you for like X a number of minutes, and then I got to give you rest. So this is going on forever. Put everything into it. And, I would say the vast majority of the class didn't hear that. They just heard, oh my God, this is continuing. But what I heard was, wait a minute. There's a light at the end of this tunnel. You've just given me your kryptonite. You've told me you can't do this forever. So that shifted my entire perception of anything that these guys give to me, I can endure, because I know at some point they're required by the rules and regulations to stop it. So for those of you who go to Buds and you're there on day 0 and you feel like it's never going to end, for those of you who go to, RIP and you're getting smoked, as I said, I think it's day 0, which is the first training day. and you're getting smoked, just understand they're required by regulations to stop at some point. So it will end. So just keep pushing, keep fluttering, just keep doing what you're doing. You'll get through it. And my programs, the Sea and Land Fitness programs, are designed to help you have the fitness level to be able to endure it. Whether or not you can endure it, that's up to you. That's up here. You know what I mean? But you can't come back to me and say, hey, you didn't give me everything that I needed to be physically fit enough. Well, that pretty much won't be true, because a lot of thought and a lot of research has gone into these programs. Now, how are we going to deliver these programs? Here you are, you're listening to this, you're all jazzed. You're like, oh man, this is awesome. I'm going to get all these programs. So what we're going to do, and I actually think this is really cool. Last episode, I couldn't remember how much the programs were going to cost. And I think I said $24.99 or $19.99, and then, well, maybe it's $24.99. I don't know. I'm going to have to get back to you. Well, I'm getting back to you. Here it is. So these programs are going to be a membership subscription. Okay. And as it stands now, this could change in the future. But in trying to understand who my customer population is. So one of the reasons why I started doing this was because of obesity and fitness levels in the recruit population. Okay. And what I wanted to do was look at what was out there. So I went and looked at what was out there, and I saw a lot of SEAL programs, some special forces programs. We can make you a Green Beret. We can make you a Navy SEAL. And I was like, okay, they're not guaranteeing it, but they're framing it in such a way that it's almost guaranteed, which made me feel a little uncomfortable. And then on top of that, these were exorbitantly priced. They were ridiculously priced. They were over $100. So who's the customer base? Okay, who's the customer population? The customer population for these programs is the same customer population of your Navy recruiter, your Marine Corps recruiter, your Army recruiter, your Air Force recruiter, and your Coast Guard recruiter. High school kids. What a bunch of assholes. Over $100. Most kids joining the military aren't coming from Ivy League rich kid backgrounds. Okay? Most kids, male and female, joining. There are a lot of instances, and I know this for a fact, when you have female recruits or potential recruits who are maybe single mothers. I've seen this a lot, and they're joining the military so that they can provide for their families, so they can provide for their future, their child. Okay? And you're charging these people $100, $200. Some of them I've seen almost up to $400. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. And that makes me kind of angry. What we're doing is we're doing a subscription-based model. Okay? Our programs are 12 weeks long. I don't expect people to be in our program for more than 6 months. Okay. Like 12 weeks, that's 3 months. But maybe they want to just have more, 3 more months of access so that they, their ETF, their ship date to go to boot camp is 6 months out or 9 months out. We don't want to burden these people. We don't necessarily, it's not that we don't want these customers after they ship. They don't need us after they ship. And that's ethically where you should stand. You know what I mean? So our programs, we've got 3 different programs. Tier 3 is going to be $19.99 a month. Tier 2 is going to be $19.99 a month. And Tier 3 is going to be, because Tier 3 is not a 12-week program like Tier 3 and Tier 2. Tier 1 is a 24-week program because it takes that much longer for you to really get into kick-ass shape for some of these selection programs. So that one's going to be $29.99. And I think that that's reasonable. And I think that it is manageable in a conversation when a kid has to go ask their parents, hey, can I have $20 a month to pay for this program? I'm serious about joining the Army. I'm serious about joining the Coast Guard. I want to join the Navy. I really want to make something out of my life. And it shows an investment, not just of the kids, but of the parents as well. All right. And I think it's reasonable. Now, what are you going to get when you get that $20 a month? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to a secure spot on the site where you will be able to see the programs broken down by week with associated videos for all of the exercises and outlines on how much and how hard you should be training for each specific weekly training block. It's broken down into 12 training blocks. And at the beginning, there's going to be an APFT because I am such a lover of the Army's APFT, push-ups, sit-ups, run. If you can do those in a good percentile, your age percentile or above your age percentile, meaning you're scoring a higher percentage rather than the 60, which is required, 60%. I think that's a good litmus test for basic fitness. And these tests, if you do them correctly and do them consistently, will take you above, I believe, the fitness level that, the 60%. So it's broken down. All of the programs are broken down this way: 3, 2, and 1. There's a starting APFT test, and then you record your numbers. You train for 4 weeks, take another APFT, train for another 4 weeks, take another APFT, and then train for the last 4 weeks, and then take another APFT. And you're going to compile those APFT scores, those fitness test scores, from the beginning to the end. So you'll be able to actually look at your progress. You know what I mean? You'll really be able to assess whether or not you've been successful at the program. And what we're going to do, and this is where it gets, and this is, remember I said, I don't want to talk about that yet. I'm going to save that for the end. Another sip of coffee real quick. Hold on. So it's going to be a membership site to get the programs. All right. It's going to be a membership site to get the programs. It's also going to be we're going to have a message board section, a social interaction section. I've never done this. This is all new territory for me, but I'm really super excited about it. We are going to digitally have the Honey Badger Nation so that, so that anyone can come on and be a part of it. Um, I'm I'm on the fence right now. I want the discussion board to be free, but it's going to have to be vetted. Um, there'll be different. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have different levels of membership within it, which, we'll proctor. That's easy. Where you have veterans, okay? We'll have a veteran star or banner or title next to their name. And then let's say tier 3. If you purchase tier 3, you get a bronze star next to it. If you purchase tier 2, you get a silver star. If you purchase tier 1, you get a gold star, so that people know within the discussion message board, within the discussion, they'll know, hey, this guy bought the program. Why don't I hook up with this guy and find out what was successful for him? Plus, I'll be available. You know what I mean? If you guys have questions, I'll be a talking head on there as well. Plus, some of my colleagues. We're also, as I said, we're going to be working in about a year after its release. So all these videos. So let me rewind a little bit. So I just finished writing the program. All right, the actual outline for the workouts, and now I have to do the text writing of explaining how to do the workouts, write the scripts, so to speak. And then April, May, because right now we're in January, April, May, we're going to be doing videos, instructional videos for each of the exercises. So you're doing them according to my standards, which will be the NSCA's and the military standards. And then once those videos are done, and we're going to have, I'm working on trying to get a female athlete to do some of these exercises as well. And once we have that all wrapped up, that's going to launch probably May, June. And then those programs, you'll be able to log on, get a membership, and be able to start partaking in our program. And then I'm going to try to figure out how to get the message board out at the same time. And on top of all of that, we've got new hats coming. I think I mentioned this before. I've got these hats. I've got red, navy blue, and or I got this royal and white, which you can see, navy and white, red and white, and another one, black and white. Okay, so it's a color front with the white rear. And then I've got multicam, arid multicam with a brown back, regular multicam with a black back, and black multicam with a black back. And they're all coming with the patch on the front. We also have a workout specific flex fit, because I run into problems. I don't work out in these. One, because I like to wear them fashionably, and they get all freaking sweat filled, stained, and I look like Dewey from Justified. And then this flex fit is going to have the patch on the front and stitching S and LF, Sea and Land Fitness, embroidered on the back. And those are coming. Those are coming in orange, OD green, black, and royal blue. Royal blue and orange is like my favorite Go Gators. I love it. But all of those, I kind of got this shit off, or get off the pot conversation with my mentor, Doc Derek Mann, and my wife as well, who were like, you got to really start doing stuff with this. So I am going to I'm getting, our store on the website is through Spotify. So I'm getting this point of sale thing. I'm going to carry the hats in my truck and start Ray Kroc in it. Ray Kroc is the McDonald's guy, and start really trying to, push some sales and get the honey badger out there. And so that's all happening and finally going to roll out end of May, beginning of June. And I'm super excited, and I hope you guys are willing to go along on the ride. And it would be an honor to have you and an honor to train you. And just know that this is just the first step. This is the first step. I have, in about a year, we've been talking about, once we get this done, doing a swimming program for those of you who want to go to Buds and rescue diver swimmer. What's the other one? MARSOC, Marine Corps Special Operations. There's big swimming components with both of those, and we can help you with that. We're going to develop a program. And the other thing that we're going to do, I mentioned Dr. Mann. He's a big sports psychology guru. He's going to help us develop a sports psych program to help you get through those mental barriers. And we're all going to work on that once we get this stuff off the ground. And yeah, we've got some shirt designs we want to bring out. We've got some partnerships we want to do. I'm making phone calls. And we are dedicated to helping you get yourself in the best military fitness shape that you can be. All right, that's all I got for you guys. I just wanted to give you guys a big update, and I'm working on some interviews, getting them to you. But just please hit the like, subscribe, all that stuff, and just help support the honey badger community. We're gonna always be here for you. All right, that's all I got for you. Again, this podcast is brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. Head on over and pick up some hats and some merch, and yeah, that's all I got. Later.